Alright, so we're finally using the Tana team. Here we go. It's another day of Aether Raids. And yeah, I experimented with a bunch of different builds for this for this team. And pretty much this is what I've settled on. Ultimately, I feel like it's still lacking in some action economy. So I don't know. In terms of units that could potentially be replaced, Layla, of course, because she's really here because bonus season, and also she helps out with the traps, but she could potentially be replaced. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think the next time this one goes around, no, I think we're gonna get light season and then chaos season afterwards, so we won't be seeing another bonus season for Tana by the time that this comes back around. Okay, alright. So yeah, this team might change next time that it ends up playing, but for now, this is what it is. Gotta break the ice. That's another reason that Layla is here, because she's the only range unit aside from Plumero who is too valuable to just be used to break ice. Yeah, the dance is really valuable. So there's an open slot, and I guess Thor, well actually no, Thor needs to stay because she Gale Forces so well, and she contributes to Gale Force quite a bit, so I can't really replace her. I was considering giving Gale Force to Cordelia, but she it's too high of a cooldown for her to consistently get, so it just didn't really make any sense, especially since she doesn't have any. Well, I mean, she kind of does, or maybe I'm mistaken, but it's just too much for her to consistently get unless Thor is nearby, and that's not always going to be the case. So for now, this is what it is. If I had Excel on her, then maybe, because it would really a lot of the times require for her to take a hit to get her Gale Force to trigger. So on Cordelia, so not happening. Just gonna have to settle with what we have, and hopefully we're able to box someone in, see how that works out. But this is the team. I experimented a bit with giving Thor pass, but it really didn't do anything for her. I mean, great pass. Who is she attacking into with that pass? And what is she doing when she's warping? Because if there's like traps and stuff, she's not going to end up on... She's not going to be able to do anything on either of the traps, just even though she has pass. So it wasn't really working out to a situation that really benefited the team. So I decided to either go with something that gave extra damage, which would be something like Assassin Strike, which I don't have for Thor currently. Well, I do have it, I just don't want to give it to her. I don't have a lot of... I'm really running out of fodder banks, which is crazy. I need some more... yeah, it's getting kind of tight. And then decided to just ultimately go with her B skill. What's it called again? Guard Bearing 4. Because it does give some stat swings, and it gives her some amount of damage reduction. Pierceable, although, you know, it might be, but it's there. We'll see if it helps out at some point. Really wanted to give her Excel, but attack defense Excel is pretty much only on Ather and Jimbro, and I have none to spare. So, well, I mean, I do have an Ather, but I'm not going to fodder him just for that. As bad as he may be, he still has some value for defense if it comes down to it. So I'll keep him around. Hopefully we'll get another copy. I'm surprised that we haven't seen his remix banner. Yeah, or did it already come out and I'm just crazy? I don't know, but I think... Oh, right. It was last month. Yeah, this time around we're getting Micaiah. Okay, alright, makes sense.
I'll handle this.
Micaiah's remix and refine, I found it to be rather underwhelming.
Sounds like fun.
Especially her B skill, that was kind of whack. I was like, what is this? Why not just, you know, run potent? Not potent, occultist strike instead of this B skill, because it's literally just debuffs.
Close your eyes.
Good debuffs, you know, at that, but it's literally just debuffs, and that can be outsourced from a myriad of other spots on your team. You don't need Legendary Micaiah to do that. So I don't know, man. I just was pretty unhappy with her refine and remix. I really thought they would have given her a little bit of the Attune Micaiah treatment in terms of just being to cleanse penalties, at least maybe one penalty. I don't know if that's too much to ask for, but well, apparently it was. But I was just not did not enjoy that refine and remix. Supposedly she's good, but I got a base Micaiah that can pretty much do the same thing that she's capable of, minus, you know, the sabotage and panic. But yeah, my base Micaiah, who is a better color, I feel, into this current meta, can do pretty much similar things if I give her a triangle attack. So it's like, does this really matter? I stuck her back into the main team, main barracks, just to see if I can potentially get some use out of her. Maybe someone shows me a crazy build and I go, you know, maybe that might work out. But yeah, I'm just not like too excited. The desperation is pretty nice. I like the desperation, but that's in her weapon. I was really hoping for more from her perf skill. So that's pretty unfortunate. Tana here, it took me a while to get her to just be consistent. A bit more fodder than I would have wanted to give her also. But she does this miasma terrain, and I actually love this because it's the best way that I've found to get rid of the ice in Astra Anima season. So I think this team will probably stick around with Tana. I was considering putting her on light season, but I just couldn't find the right team composition to build around her. I don't have as many units in light seasons that Gale Force. Most of my Gale Forcers are in Astra Anima season. So it would have meant that I would have had to pair her with Winter Edelgard and Golvig. And I already have that team set up. It wouldn't really have helped anything. So I decided that I would just put her in Astra Anima just to give me some, I don't know, what's the word here?
I'll handle this.
Alternatives in terms of, you know, just team building. She pairs really well with Celica, but unfortunately Celica just isn't, you know, taking out much these days, and also the action economy with Celica is just really not that great. And also male Shez, but I'm not really interested in using him, so we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, so far from testing, it's difficult to use this team because it's hard to pin since all of the units are essentially melee units, and I'm not going to have Plumeria trying to tank something. That's just not going to work out, which would leave us tanking with
I'll handle this.
Layla in this current configuration, and Layla is susceptible to, because she doesn't have full null follow-up, so she's susceptible to getting doubled, which is potentially bad. So I'm typically like tanking or shutting down, you know, a spot with melee units, which is not great because they do a lot of the times are able to take out whoever is attacking them on the counter attack. So it's not the greatest in that regards, but it works. I have to be a bit careful about how I use it, but it does indeed work. And I could probably even give Cordelia that one skill back, because she also has guard bearing 4, so I could also just give that back to her. But for now, I'm running Snag just for, you know, additional debuffs if I do need it. But yeah, there's the team. Let's see if we get to use it again this season. GG's, see you in the next one. Alright, welcome to another day of Aether Raids. We're taking on Emperor here, and I got the new tech, the new kid on the block, the freshly refined Legendary Micaiah. I think I've said this before at this point. Yeah, not too high on her B skill, Prescience, but there is something interesting that I would like to demonstrate in terms of one of the benefits of her B skill. In particular against fast saves, speedy far saves. We're gonna demonstrate here with this version of Dual Fjorm. I'm going to show off a little bit of interesting tech here that you may or may not be aware of. So let me just set this up in terms of my starting alignment here, the start positions. I want to make sure that I have enough actions and counterplays to, if I eventually step on one of these traps and it turns out to be the real one, that I don't completely mess up my entire play here. And I also want to reposition Neathauger somewhere up there because she's going to be the one doing the majority of the damage or the majority of the work after Micaiah does her thing. But pretty decent team here. You probably wouldn't want to tank this, but give me a second here to fix things. Okay, so everything is set up. This is the lineup that I'm going to go with here. We're going to go straight in, as you can see. And right now, this is what it's looking like. Fjorm is outspeeding Micaiah. Interesting. So here we go with the debuffs from Sabotage, attack and defense debuffs, plus Sabotage being inflicted. Granted, Sabotage is already out there, but Attune Micaiah cleansed a lot of the stuff. So we're gonna go with debuffs here. Now we have triangle attack, and we are surviving. Still getting outsped, but we are surviving because we're triggering our miracle, which is a tech option. I hate the fact that I have to run miracle and everything because we're just dying. Everyone's getting murdered, but that's just how it is. And it's pretty neat that you can get miracle to work on this Micaiah. I think that's actually quite cool. And also, I am running triangle attack on all of my teams. I want to say, yeah, the majority of my teams this week, which is crazy. I was a strong, the opposite of advocates. I forget. I was really against it in terms of running triangle attack on offense because it was just so powerful in terms of how hard you could hit. But then it did have its downside or its drawback of positioning, positional play, trying to get in. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. You didn't have enough action economy to bring triangle attack and then clear a map successfully, which is kind of still the case with this one, but the units that I have are tanky enough to compensate. So there we go with the speed debuffs and some additional drives that we're going to get from Plumeria here. So this is -5 to all stats, inclusive of speed. Sabotage is inflicted. I'm getting an additional 3 speed from Plumeria, and then as you can see here, we now outspeed
Message received.
Dual Fjorm, who is a fast far save. And the only way that you can beat fast far saves is you need to win the speed check. Especially with Shield Fighter, you need all 4 hits because Shield Fighter. But if you hit hard enough, that is the outcome. And that's the benefit of being Micaiah. Only this Micaiah is able to do that in terms of winning the speed check. So that's the benefit of that particular B skill. I guess you could probably do it with Frozen. Do some shenanigans there and get a Toon Micaiah, or, well, probably only a Toon Micaiah to get to that heights to win that check. But you don't have to go through as much with Legendary version here to get that done. Yeah, that's pretty much her only, I want to say, positives from her Refine and Remix, that she's able to outspeed Dual Fjorm. And it sounds like I'm downplaying that fact, but that's actually a massive thing to be able to win a speed check against a fast unit. Micaiah is known to be slow, so the fact that she can win a speed check against Dual Fjorm is actually amazing. And I should probably point out the fact that even though that Fjorm had Hardy Bearing, if it was like a speed seal,
I'll handle this.
Micaiah would still be able to win the speed check. She does get really, really fast, surprisingly so, I want to say. PM1 was not kidding when he said that this Micaiah can get really fast. Similar to how attuned Micaiah is able to tank the Great Aether from Emblem Ike, this Micaiah is just that fast. She won't be able to tank a Great Aether, but she will win speed checks, even against, I want to say, Felix and stuff. She'll win the speed check, and that's a good thing for Legend of Micaiah here. But overall, I still don't entirely enjoy that B skill, because it did take a little bit of work for me to get her to win the speed check there, a little bit of support. But yeah, that is something that you can do with Micaiah, and for good or bad, it's an option that's available in the game. I still wish they had given her a lot more to work with in that B skill. It feels a little bit unfair. I feel like she got the Bridal Micaiah treatment, which is good, but it's nowhere close to what Attuned Micaiah got. And I think at the current stage of the game, I thought she would have gotten something a little bit similar to that, which is why I took her from Binding Blades, Binding Worlds. I took the Forma, and it did, to some extent pay off. So I'm not complaining about the fact that she can actually take things out now, and that adds to the count of the number of units in the game that are actually good. So we got Bernie, we got Lucina, we got Micaiah. Who else we got as a ranged unit? 5. I got 5 fingers up. So we got 5 good units in the game. I probably want to throw Celine in there. She can, she can do stuff. She's actually really decent. And Shez. Oh yeah. Shez. Oh, let's drop Celine. So we got Shez, Crom, legendary. All of them have effective damage.
Sure.
Well, the majority. I got 8 fingers up. Only 2 of those units don't have effective damage. Only 2. Everyone else has some form of effective damage. So yeah, that's pretty much where the game stands currently. 8 units that are good, and how can I forget Hinoka, Pirate Hinoka? But that's one specific case, and it's only if you have her invested. But I'll throw it in there nonetheless. So that's 9 units. 9 units that are good in the current meta. Yeah, that's just where we're at. I don't know. We're still waiting for that nuke that will change everything, help us out. Yeah, Neathogger is indeed a problem. Man, I'm recording this after recording a 40-minute video, and my god, I was not... I've done it before. I mean, I've done longer videos before than 40 minutes, but oh my god, I talk so much. I'm exhausted, but I'm still talking. It's been like, what, 16 minutes now? I'm still talking. Jesus Christ. Gift of Gab. Apparently it's something that I have. I was not aware, but that's probably only when there's something to talk about. And I still have more things to say. I haven't gone through the full scale of just how crazy it is that Micaiah is just like so currently busted, but I guess I'll have more things to say in future videos when I collect my thoughts a little bit more, because I'm still just thinking about some of the testing that I did, and I'm just blown away by how fantastic she is. Astra doesn't have a lot of his support, so that's probably why. I want to say, again, massive shout-outs to that Pirate Hinoka. I've been waiting for her to be good again, and it's looking like she's creeping back up into the meta. And massive shout-outs to her. The next unit that I'm probably going to test out a bit, don't know if I'm going to do a video on it or not, is Ronin.
What's the plan?
I want to see what that bow do. I want to see what it does. I want to see if it's actually good or if it's capped. I'm definitely interested to see how because I don't want to really replace Sedith, but I think he's worse than Sedith in the fact that if he gets baited, you automatically lose a support unit, whereas Sedith will more than likely harsh command or do an assist, because typically he's only doing like 0 damage into most things, so he's less likely to attack, less likely to get baited, so he's probably going to swap or do an assist. But this Ronin looks like he could do some damage, and I want to see if that's true or not. So that's it for today, man. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. GG's. See you in the next video.